Hello, it's Darren from Grows Plants here in Cornwall in the UK. It's a video about sowing beetroot. Beetroot's very easy to grow. It's the 21st of March today and I'm going to give it a go. It's quite mild here this year. There is talk of a cold snap, but I'm going to risk it because if you have a look at my beetroot seeds, which I'm going to sow, so this is a beetroot called boldardy, and there's 1,500 seeds, and this cost me about, I don't know, about £1.35. Can you see how many seeds I've got here? That no one is ever going to use that many in one season. So let's have a look at what we're doing in the allotment and what you need to do. So this is an area in the allotment which we have prepared. So when I mean prepared, what we do with a spade, we just single dig depth. We used to double dig when we first came here because the soil was very compacted. We were working on clay soil, and this allotment here and over here hadn't been worked for many years. So we basically have been, the 6 years we've been here, we have been loosening the soil, feeding the soil with horse manure and seaweed meal to get a better quality soil, which we now have. So going back to the point of the video, which is sowing beetroot. So we have single dug over the area where we're going to plant, and then what we've done is we've used our rake just to knock the majority of the lumps out, and at the same point make it fairly level. Then what we've done with the corner of the rake, like so, dragging it along with the corner, and that will make you a trench for your beetroot. So we've put our seeds in our trenches. So the trench we have done, you can see the trench there and the trench here. Look. So you can see, you know, the size of the trench is maybe about 4 inches deep, and then into the trench you can see these tiny little things here. Look. And I've put them quite close together at the moment, and that's all the way down through both runs of trenches. Now you oversow. Why I say oversow is because then you can thin out and establish what might be the strongest plants. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to backfill the trench. So all my seeds are in place, and then we're basically going to take the rake and then we're going to basically cover the ground over again of where our trenches were and where we have sowed our beetroot seeds. Now we're sowing one called boldardy. It's called boldardy because some beetroots tend to bolt. When they say bolt, it means that basically they go to seed, turn into flower head too quickly. Boldardy is called boldardy because it doesn't bolt very rapidly. So you can almost guarantee you're going to get a good crop regardless of the weather. If we have a lot of heat, it won't bolt. Whereas some varieties will bolt. Who's that? One of my bantams. Trying to see which one it was. Oh, it's Violet. I think Violet's going to lay an egg, so she's starting to get a bit noisy. So that's what we do. We fill back the trenching like so, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the rake just lightly to compact the area where we have dug the trench. Now when we've done all that, now you don't have to do this. This is not essential. You can see I've got these cloth hoops here. Where the cloth hoops are is the reason I'm going to cover this with a fleece is we have a high population of house sparrows, and as soon as the seedlings of beetroot appear, the house sparrows will be here and they'll eat the beetroot leaves, and then they'll probably weaken the plant and possibly even kill the beetroot plant that we're trying to grow. So I'm using these. It's not essential. unless you're in a situation where you've got a population of over 100 house sparrows that visit your garden. Now, it's not essential to actually plant these beetroot in the ground. You can actually put them in a pot as well. A pot, something like this. You want a pot which is nice and deep so it'll accept the roots, or one like this. Yeah. And again, you would just make maybe a trench around the outside, and then an inner trench as well. Or what you could do is just poke the seed into the ground with your finger, probably just about first knuckle, so first knuckle there to there. Look, that's about the depth of the seed that you want to get in to underneath the surface, and then just about like that, and that'll be good. Next job, we're going to give it a bit of a water to water the seeds in. Now, what I tend to do is I water twice. Stop for a minute. Once that's soaked in, second water in. Now, if you get really dry periods, then by all means give it a water. So don't forget, when you've got nice healthy plants up and you've got some adult leaves, not the baby leaves, adult leaves in place, you can establish then which are the strongest looking beetroot plants. Keep them, and then trying to space them. Then you're trying to space them maybe about 4 to 6 inches apart. Depends on the size of the beetroot you want. You know, yeah, 4 to 6 inches is about right. People also, you've probably seen on YouTube already, some people bunch these together, put 3 seeds together, and then they'll take the biggest one, and then the next one will become bigger, and then you take that one when that becomes big. I've tried it, it doesn't really work for me. I don't know why. We end up with, you know, one big one, and then the other 2 don't really make the grade. So yeah, spacing between each one, maybe 4-6 inches, and then between the rows I've put about 8 to 10 inches between each row. So if you wonder what I meant by fleecing, this is a fleece. It's a disposable thing. The purpose for this is 2 things for me. Is one is it'll keep the warmth in more to help germination, and the other thing this fleece will do will be, once the seeds have come up and they start growing leaves, this is going to protect it from our beloved house sparrows that love to decimate our beetroot leaves. So as I've said, we're in Cornwall in the UK, so let's just say you're in Scotland, or you're in Manchester, or you're somewhere colder, say North Wales. I wouldn't be sowing them in those areas at the end of March. Obviously you've got to look at your own zones, and if you go onto Google and ask what your zone is, then it should come up with some sort of chart of what the zones are and when the last frosts are. Our last frost is actually 21st of March today, to the last day of March is our last frost date. That's the window. So with the fleece, even if we did get frost, these are going to be fine, but I don't think at this point we will get frost. So any questions, put them in the comments. I do my best to answer any questions that I get. Don't confess to know it all, but if I can help in any way, please comment.